Okay, guys, pardon that interruption. This is SDL City Showdown with AJ and Steve. Crowd goes wild. Well, yes, there you go.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys,
Jerks.
this is going to be a little bit different. Let's just be honest. At some point, there's only so much complaining you can do. So there's different things that are going to happen. So hopefully this is going to be fun for you guys. I kind of wanted to start with a story for you guys. I went to this bar with my newlywed wife called Love Woo. It's kind of in the Creve Coeur Olive area. And we were having drinks. And this bar is kind of like the mixology bar, kind of small. And the wife was like, oh, go play bass up there. Go play bass up there. Because there was like a guitarist and saxophonist. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, I'm totally out of shape. Like, I'm a music teacher, but then went into the sciences and medicine, stuff like that. So I'm like out of shape. And the guy's like, okay, we're going to play like Johnny Be Good. I'm like, okay, cool. That's good. And he's like, we're going to play it in A. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I started playing and I'm just like listening. I'm like, okay, it's like, it sounds like his guitar's like a little sharp or something. Like, what's going on here? And then it took me like a whole freaking verse and chorus to realize, oh my gosh, he's like in B flat. And I'm like, I feel so stupid. And so then I finished out the song playing the actual right key. And of course, the wifey's like, oh, you're so cute. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like super embarrassed because I'm like completely playing out of key here. And all I got to say is that as embarrassing as that was for me, somebody who was classically rock, jazz, and everything trained as a bassist, watching this game was way more embarrassing.
Yeah, man.
Right, Steve? What is it? 43 shots, right?
Yeah, it was. So like my wife, bless her heart, we had like a date day yesterday. The kids were gone, and like we got back to the house, and right whenever you texted me that there was the red card on the goalkeeper is when I turned it on. I was on my way to turn it on. And so she sat there and watched the game with me. And like she had second or third hand embarrassment for the team. She was embarrassed for the team and because embarrassed that I was having to watch it so we could do this. And then she was watching it. And then she was like, another one. And like, whenever the Apple announcer, those guys were trash last night, by the way. Like some of the Apple announcers are kind of good with their analysis and stuff. These guys had never been in the city. These guys don't know anything about this team. They kept mispronouncing stuff. It was bad. But like when they would say Klaus with the header, she's like, let me guess, wide right. Like he's just, she was getting pithy and it was awesome. I was there for it. And whenever they scored, or whenever City scores, she's like, let me guess what's going to happen. I'm like, don't you say it. Don't you say it. 2 minutes later, gave it up. Bad news, man. Yeah, I got to tell you, like, when they got that red card and they were down at man, I know the initial reaction is to be upset that we don't just run up the score, but we've seen it multiple times. We see it, like, going down a man in the MLS isn't a death knell. It should be harder for you to score, but like you still have it's almost really close. You can kind of adjust some things around. And that's kind of what we saw Dallas do last night. But City just was completely inept and trying to move around the ball and score. And by the way, so last year we played Dallas, Paz, their amazing goalie, he had a red card and he got out and then their backup came in. Paul's is out right now because of some injury. He's out for like another 6 weeks. This bozo got a red card. So he's out next week. And the announcers were confused. They're like, well, they have 2 more goalies on the bench. This guy was looking at the City bench and he's like, Ben Lunt's on the bench. And the other announcer was like, yeah, that's St. Louis's bench. He's like, oh, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. So this Jackson guy comes in. He looks terrified, stands on his head the whole damn game. Player of the match was Jackson, their backup goalie, without a doubt. That was amazing. It was amazing work. Other than City kicking it in the shins and not knowing where the ball is supposed to go, that Jackson guy, player of the match. He was amazing.
I'll tell you, and I think you're going to appreciate this too, is that I went to go make dinner real quick right before the game.
Good man.
the wifey turned on the game. And when I got in there, I was listening. I was like, oh, this isn't the Apple announcers. And she's like, yeah, I turned on the radio feed. And I'm like, see, this is why I married you, right? Like, you just know, like, how awesome is that? These guys are way better. And you know what the soul crusher is, Steve? The guys on Y98, they go, well, with how City's playing, this is looking at like a 4-goal game.
Oh my God. They jinxed it right away, huh?
They did. Oh, man. No.
I don't know what game they were watching, though. I don't know who they thought it was going to be a 4-goal game. Although I think the XG at the end of the game was like 3.8 or something. It was something stupid. And that shows you the futility of XG. If the computer actually looked at a lot of those shots, it would have taken away over half of that XG. It was just garbage. It was, my daughter plays for a 13U team, and the shots that they only take like 3 shots a game because they're children. They looked better than what the 40 some odd chances City had last night. It was just.
But in some ways, it's actually telling. So in general, if your XG is higher than your goals, that's saying that you should have scored more, which means you don't have finishers. Whereas if you have a lower XG but more goals than XG, that means that you were making goals that were very difficult, which usually says that you have good finishing. That's exactly what we saw. We just didn't have the finishing. Like you said, we just weren't getting good position. We were taking just a little bit too long to maybe shoot sometimes. I mean, like you said, with Klaus, like you said, every single header was wide right. I didn't realize that until you said that, but that's so true.
Yep. It was bad. So, okay. A couple of things before we get started. So I made some comments on Facebook today for our team and for our podcast. And so we had some people comment on what I said. So I want to give some shout outs. So from Facebook, from the St. Louis City SC fan page, Samantha, this is your shout out. Congrats. Ryan, this is your shout out. Congrats. You made it. Joe, congrats, man. You made it on this. You made it on the show. And then over on St. Louis City SC fans again, Andrea, made it on the show. Good job. Amonte, made it on the show. Told you would. Love you guys. And then nice. Ace over on Discord, told you, man. I got you. You're on the show. And the reason why you're on the show is because all of you commented on a post that I made, because St. Louis last night, the marketing team is amazing. Marketing team does an amazing job. They do their best getting their freebies. Although I got to say, AJ, on that match that we went to for your bachelor party where they gave away the lunchbox totes, those lunchbox totes were kind of embarrassing to the point where as we were walking around, I saw people coming in and I saw one woman, the person held up the bag and she said, no, don't worry about it. And he just had to put the lunch bag back in. He's like, oh, we don't want my free. No. She's like, don't worry.
What's wrong with the lunch bag?
I have never seen someone turn down a promotion on. She's like, nope. She took one look and is like, I'm not carrying that all night. I'm not carrying that. And what's wrong with it is I am not going to use it. It's all right. But anyway, so the timing on this giveaway, probably suspect. The promo yesterday was a luggage tag, and it was like a brown leather luggage tag. The city logo is embossed on one side, and the other side has got your window for your luggage stuff. But unfortunately, it's bad timing because it seems like the team is trying to ship their fans away. So while we are going to not go anywhere, who are some of the players or people on this team that you would like to attach that to their luggage as you remove them from the city? So who are some players that we are going to want to help pack, use that awesome new luggage tag that the team gave them, and help them along their way at the end of the season?
Does it need to be a player or could it be anybody?
Oh, no. It could be me. It doesn't matter. It could be anyone loosely tied to the game, to the team. Although, I got to say, it would be more fun if it's like directly responsible for that dog water performance we're seeing on the field every. Thank God. Can you imagine if we were doing this 3 times a week? If it was like anywhere close to baseball and they're playing 3 times a week, we'd have like 75 losses at this point. And I think we would probably, I don't know, we probably have holes in the back of this. The toxic masculinity would just come pouring out if we have to do this all the time.
Okay. So since you put the challenge of the luggage tags, who would I probably ship out?
Just give me first.
I'm going to have to say Diego because I put a lot of responsibility on him.
But say why though? Because we have a GM side, a business side of St. Louis City, and a sporting GM, the sporting director,
correct,
which is what Lutz was. These are two sides. This is like front of the house for a restaurant and back of the house for a restaurant. And I guess Lutz would be the front of the house, the performance side. The business side is the back of the house. And you got the back of the house telling the front. So why get rid of the business side?
Yeah. So a couple things. One, Diego's still responsible for the sporting side, right? So he helps put the people in position. He still is part of hiring of the head coach. I'm not saying that he ultimately still has responsibility and discretion to take control if he wanted to. Like with Olaf, I don't know. Was that truly Lutz hire or was that also a Diego hire? I don't know, but he still gets part of the blame because he's still part of the process too. Now, you could argue and say, well, but he's not a sporting guy, so why should he get all of the blame? Well, guess what? You're still picking the people that should be there, right? Like, there's a reason why they got rid of Lutz. Should it have been sooner? I kind of wonder. I think when we do a post-mortem at the end of the season going into next season, we'll probably look back objectively and say, maybe this should have happened sooner. Because ultimately, like, look at this. What did we do during the summer window? We did jack. Absolutely nothing. Now, to some extent, yes, I do understand that you don't want to fire your sporting director right before a window because nobody's going to be able to come in and bring in anybody. So it's better to have something kind of in place. But if you were going to kneecap him, and I assume that they probably just didn't let him spend tons of money, and that's why we saw what we had, then what are you doing? You should have fired him a long time ago, like maybe at the beginning of the season. I don't know. But the whole thing just doesn't make any sense to me, and I just feel like when you look at it, it could be better. So I think that's one of many other things. The other thing is his tickets, right? I'm sorry, Steve, we went to the game last week, and these tickets are still ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously expensive. You got a team that's struggling this bad, and I was actually embarrassed. I don't know if you caught this when we were watching the game on TV. There were so many seats that were empty. I don't care if it's a quote-unquote sellout, BS, whatever, right? A lot of that season tickets and people aren't even show up. There's literally people who have season tickets that aren't showing up, and they can't even give these tickets away.
I know a few people that are just eating their seats. They don't even want to try to sell them. They're season ticket holders, and they're just eating them. And they're not going to the games. They know that I would like to go to games. They're just holding on to them. Like, they have zero interest. It's insane. Yep.
Who would you send packing?
Okay, I'm going to say something controversial, if you will. So we're looking at the quality on the field. The quality of the field is not right. And if we're looking holistically, why is the quality on the field bad? Dude is a technical director. A technical director of this team. And who is the technical director of this team? It's John Hackworth.
Man, you're going to...
So, if we're seeing from the inside of the stadium all the way onto the field that the team is just trash, it's not a good look. I told you, like, my wife was watching and she was just gobsmacked at just how little it looked like these guys knew what they were doing. And she's like, it looks like a bunch of individuals out there playing their own game and there's just no teamwork. Well, that's coming from the sporting side. That's coming from the technical side. And the person at the top of that chain is John Hackworth. And I know everyone wanted to crown him the head coach last year. And he didn't get it because of obvious reasons. He just wasn't good enough. But look, now this is what we're still seeing. And so you're either getting rid of the technical director, you're getting rid of all the assistant coaches, like you're just scraping the inside out. And they all got to go because they're the ones that are leading the direction for the team. And it's just not right. So my first guy, I'm putting his little tag on his bag. I'm saying, John, get the fuck out of here. And, maybe Diego wants to be the technical director as well.
That's an interesting thought because nobody ever thinks about that. Nobody ever thinks about that. And the other thing too is
weird.
Exactly. And the
Wait, what?
realistic thing is if we get a sporting director in and then we get a coach in, what is every person? So like imagine if a business gets a new president of the company, what do they always do? They usually let a lot of the VPs go and they bring their own vice presidents in. This happens at companies across the world every single day. And what do you think Hackworth is going to do? He's probably going to get let go, and whoever the new sporting director is probably going to bring his quote unquote guy in.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest with you. That's just what happens. So I think you're going to get your wish is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think it has to happen. If you're looking at, so guys, if you want to know who these people are, go onto the City app, go onto the team tab at the bottom. You'll see there's a row of things at the top. Go all the way, Barry, go all the way to the right, and you see staff. And that tells you the head coaches and all this stuff. And it tells you who these cats are. And I think the only two I'm keeping is the goalkeeper coach, for obvious reasons, and possibly the director of sports performance, because this guy is all about, like, just, well, maybe he's got to go too, like staying healthy. But we saw now that the Olaf thing is done, the players are starting to stay healthy. So maybe this guy can stay too. But like the assistant coaches, technical director, I mean, Chrisley can't be the head coach next year. He just can't be the head coach. It's, guys, what AJ and I talked about this. Wait like 4 or 5 more games. Now, I said we got to wait until the end of this stretch here, but like the season's almost over. We got plenty of data. It's been since May. It ain't it. We've got, 5 wins all season? And so you realize, again, this is a possibility because the only other team that's lower than us right now is LA Galaxy. And there's 2 points separating us from the Galaxy. We have 22 points from the season. 22 points. And they have 20. And a game in hand. And a game in hand.
And a game in hand. Absolutely.
So, like, it's there. It's there for the taking. So, is there anyone else that you want to target for shipping out here? And by the way, it's a luggage tag. I'm not buying a plane ticket for these cats. They're riding the Greyhound or the Magic Bus home. Well, I ain't putting them on an airplane. Either that or they can find their own fucking cab home. I ain't paying for an Uber. They can take a St. Louis City cab.
This is going to sound really controversial to some extent, but I'm more in favor of a hard reset than people are probably willing to do. There's some people I'm okay keeping, like people like Celio, Hartel, but like people who show good potential and that are going to work. But for people who are kind of like your just average, like, your typical player, I think we just get somebody new. Now, people are going to say, well, do you really want to restart like what we did in our inaugural year? To some extent, yes, I do. Because what have we done in these last 3 years, right? We had a magical run for about, a third of a season, maybe half of a season. And then what's it been since then? It's been crap, absolute crap. So what are we building off of at this point? At some point, I just want to see it all blow up and start something new. But the thing is you can keep some really good players, right? Hartel, Celio, I like the St. Ben guy. I think Betcher, I think you probably could do better with him. Toychert, I don't know what happened to him. Falu, I'm definitely keeping him. Kessler, same thing. I don't know if I mentioned Berkey/Lunt. I think you can keep one of those two. Everybody else, pretty much, let's just see some new faces.
Yeah.
Something.
I mean, yeah, if we think that the sporting director was so bad, we had to fire him halfway through the 3rd season, which I think he had a contract for 5 seasons. So maybe they backed up to 22 or so. So maybe it's the next season would have been his final. If we don't let the sporting director, the GM, finish his tenure because he's so bad, what does that say about all the decisions he's made up to this point? All the players he's brought in, he's a player. So like all the players and the coaches he's brought in, like, do we think that he's done a great job and like all of these players need to stick around? No. Yes, some of you have bought jerseys with names on the back, which is why I put silly names on the back of my jerseys. I'm not putting a name of someone that's going to not be here even in 5 years on the back of a jersey. So I'm putting piffy little slogans on the back of my jersey because those are mine. Guess what? Klaus ain't going to be here very long. Berkey's not going to be here very long. Even Steelers not going to be here very long. Now, Perez, he's like, 14 still, so we got him for another decade. But like, a lot of these younger players, sure, but like, there's gonna be. I can't wait until December when we can start seeing all these contracts, because the contracts all expire on like the 29th or something. When they all
Steve,
expire and all the shit goes crazy. Yeah.
can I ask you a weird question?
Ask me all the weird questions.
So speaking of names on the back of jersey, right? Like somebody who's like Klaus or something who's 28 and you put his name on the back of your jersey, I can see it. Does it get a little weird if you put an 18-year-old or a 17-year-old soccer player on the back of your jersey? Does that start to get a little...
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would almost say like wearing another person's, like idolizing another person. That's a little sketch if you're an adult. Like wearing jerseys, I'll say it. I've never thought I was going to wear a jersey outside the house that it's not mine. But like, so like the jersey you're wearing, the jerseys we have, they're cool. But like when you start wearing another person's name on your back, like, are you that person? Like, if you think someone's going to confuse you,
I agree.
Like, am I Klaus? Like, oh, like, a little bit, but like no one's going to look and be like, oh, there's Berkey, pudgy middle 40-year-old white guy. I think that's Berkey over there. Like, I think it's really dope for kids because kids can idolize players. But like, yeah, putting someone's name on your jersey, like, that's just weird as an adult. Sorry. That's why I don't do it.
I agree. And you know what? The thing is like a lot of times people do idolize players. And I'm like, these are just regular people,
Yeah, they're just
And
dudes.
what's funny is these guys don't walk around with jerseys with their names on their back. It's kind of like if you go to a band concert, right? Like you're going to some like kind of rock concert and you're wearing the band's t-shirt, like these band dudes, like they don't wear their own shirts. Like that's weird,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's weird to wear like a t-shirt of the band that you're going to, but that's a controversial topic.
Since we're judging attire, my wife hates shirts with words on them. And after seeing some of these crazy shirts, I'm with her. No words on shirts. No words on shirts. We don't need words. Half of America can't read the words anyway, so why even put them on there? And the other half hate you for having them on there. So don't confuse people that can't read the words, and don't try to show off what you are. Man, you know what? We've taken a lot of shots in this show, and I think most of them have landed. Probably at least one has landed. So we've got a better record than the team has right now.
Oh, ouch.
Hi-yo. Which, by the way, so like while you're watching, were you excited when you saw all these shots last night? Like every shot, were you like, oh, that was almost in there? And like, oh, yeah. Like, would you have rather had 15 shots or 43 shots?
That's the silliest question ever. Of course you want 43 shots, right? Like,
oh man, that's a monkey paw, but you don't get any of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, maybe it's just reckless optimism. Maybe I was on the copium, whatever. But during the game, like, I'm like, okay, we have to score, right? There's 10 men on the field and we actually looked pretty decent. We put a lot of pressure on at the beginning. I'm like, there's no way we don't score like 3 at least. Now, I got to say it. So people just don't get this, right? This is not hockey. And hockey, when you go a man down and you're on the power play, the team that is on the power play scores something like, I think it's like 25-30% of the time. Like, it's really high. In soccer, though, going down a man means that you're still got 10 outfielders.
Yep.
Right? Compared to, or I should say 9 outfielders compared to your 10 outfielders. But the thing is, okay, in the cases, maybe you just take off one of your 2 strikers, but you still have a full complement of defenders.
Right.
You still have a full complement of a midfield. Right. You're defending basically the same. It's not like you're completely weakened. Or you take off one defender, usually like a center midfielder, and maybe you're a little weaker in the midfield, but you still have the attack. You still have the defense to some extent. It's not a power play.
Yeah. Dallas showed us you can do it.
But still, and I've seen and heard about teams that have went down a man early in the game and they win.
Yeah, I've seen it happen this year. Yeah, because you still have to play. It's not like you're saying. It's not like going down. Like, I think Houston went down 2 men. They had a really rough game last year, and like they went down 2 and they got kind of blown out because then you're really opening up a hole. Like, they're just down one. You go to a low block, and then you can just sit back and then force the team to do something. And even after they went down, they were still able to tie the game because our defense and my boy, the Bulldog, forgot what he was doing and made a stupid move and got his pocket picked, and they just wide open went in and scored. It was just unbelievable. Oh, before we talk about scoring, what did you think about Celio's goal? What did you think when that goal happened?
I mean, like what everybody else would say is that it was a banger, but
oh my God.
The realistic thing is from that distance, you have to hit it super, super hard, which is why when players hit it from that distance, it usually sails over the net.
Yeah.
The thing is if you're able to hit it that hard and you just so happen to get it on frame, it could be really hard to defend against. Yeah. And the cool thing is he got it on frame, and guess what? It was really hard to defend against. Yeah. So I give him credit for it, but to some extent, there is a little bit of luck to it too.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, I had mentioned it. To me, it seemed like a pure athletic play. Like, it didn't seem like it was scripted. It didn't seem like it was meant for him. It seemed like he got the ball. He looked at the defenders, where the goalie was positioned. He had a split second. He made a pure athletic move. And you're right. That ball is going to go over the goal 90% of the time. But it didn't. And it looked like a video game shot. There was a video game back when we were kids. I think it was for the Super Nintendo, where the players were all like little mini guys. And then you could do this rainbow kick, and the ball would just hover and then shoot itself in a straight line to the goal and then like bounce out. I don't know how many goals we see in the MLS where it's hit with such force, it actually pushes the back of the net out and bounces back in. That was a absolute banger by Steelhill. And by the way, first year City was a team, they did for the City Futures, they built a mini pitch, and the first one was in Washington Park where my daughter was playing, and my daughter got to hang out and play with Celio for like an hour. He drove the City handlers just crazy because him and I think may have been Hebert. It was one of the other defenders. They just wouldn't leave. They wanted to keep playing with the kids, and they wanted to just keep hanging out with these youths. And like, Celio gave my daughter high fives, took pictures with her, made her a lifelong soccer fan. She was already digging soccer, but that young man, with his just energy and his love for the game and his love for being around the kids, just fueled her. And he will forever be one of my favorite players of all time. And to see that young man just bomb that ball like that was just dope. And this is why people were clamoring to have him on the field, because he did good there. He's not perfect, but he did good there. So, like, good on you, Celio.
So I'm going to pivot here. And do you got your wooden spoon?
Just like City, it's always around.
So we're going to play a game here. It's called Who Deserves the Spoon? All right. So we're going to look at not just this game, but last game too, and the game before that, and the game before that, and that, all season long. And I want you to pick one person or coach or management, whomever you wish, that deserves the wooden spoon so far. And we're probably going to play this game, unfortunately, at the end of the year again, but we'll consider this like a pre-vote.
Player coach that deserves the wooden spoon. Oh my God. Jesus, man. Got to be a current person. So overall, it's Lutz. He built this team. It's gone. He's got fired for a reason. It's got to be, okay, you know what? These are grown men. They signed the contracts. This is what they put themselves up for. For me, it's got to be Klaus. We signed him for all this money. We signed him to do the thing. And he is our 2 inches too short guy. Like, everything. He just can't. A leader of a team, the DP of the team, should be the person you can count on to get it in the back of the net the majority of the time. And for whatever reason, bad luck, whatever you have it, he ain't it. He ain't doing it this year. So for me, he's not the sole reason why this team is there, but if there's one person I got to give this nice wooden spoon to, it's got to be Klaus. That's my justification. What about you?
Ooh, man, that is spicy.
Nom, 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 nom.
All right. So the low-hanging fruit here for the season so far, I would have to think Olaf, right? But I told you...
He was here for like
I don't think
3 weeks, right?
Yeah, basically.
He didn't even get him packed. He didn't pay the rent
I
for the first month. Holy shit. Oh my God. He didn't even get through the free trial on his Apple Music account he would have gotten from the team when he got his phone. His free trial didn't even expire. His Spotify premium was not even ran out yet before he got ran out of town. That's rough, dude. Oh my God. He's like, I didn't even have to pay that $12.99, bitches. Ah. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I mean,
You're
not
okay,
really.
bro. So I was saying, I think Olaf, but part of me, I kind of told you this off air near the beginning of the season. I was like, okay, I don't really care what players are here. I don't even really care what coach is here, as long as we're winning. And then I was like really on board with this whole like in Lutz we trust type thing. I was like, okay, as long as we have him and we got the press, like I can root for that. And now that he's gone, I'm starting to think, oh man, that was a lot of copium there. I was definitely drugged up on that. And
Just mainlining
I
that.
guess I know. I think if we look at just coaches and players, I would have to say Olaf. But if we extend it to the management, I'll have to say Lutz here. I have to.
No. Oh yeah, I mean, beating a dead man. I mean, he's gone.
I know, it kind of feels like it. I mean, you make a great argument about Klaus. I mean, unfortunately, somebody was talking about Hartel on Reddit, how he wouldn't even be a third DP on a lot of teams out there. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but there's a lot of really good DPs out there. And unfortunately, I don't know if Klaus makes the DP on most teams.
No.
Maybe a TAM player? Absolutely. TAM
Yeah.
player? 100%.
Yeah, he's not the top two, if you will, of any team. And then it's a shame that, you know, we know that Lutz is gone now, but we had that option from that other team. I forget where that team was, to just buy him. And Lutz had said on KMOX that no, we couldn't let him go. He was pivotal for our direction moving forward.
Ugh.
And that's one of those quotes you have to just always remember, because not a month later, the man that said that was fired.
So was this basically saving face? So when a player hears that a team wants to trade them, what do you think as a player? Do you think I'm excited I get to go somewhere else? Or do you think that the team is like, well, the team doesn't have faith in me. I hate this team. And then maybe by Lutz saying that, maybe the deal had fallen through, but Lutz was basically trying to save face, being like, no, we love Klaus. We love him. And we don't want him. How do you make a heart? Yeah, there you go. We don't want him to go anywhere. Like, was it just a way to, like, save face?
I think Lutz was just probably trying to save his own face, that he wanted to make sure that his big signing wasn't able to go. Like, it may have been a desperate person trying to hold on to something that was a good sign. Like, by that time, they probably knew he was going to be gone, and he could not let his first big signing go. If that happens, then you are just agreeing that your choices are all sour and the writing's on the wall. He was probably trying to save himself and hope that Klaus said score. Klaus was on a bit of a run, that Klaus would just open up and score like 5 or 6 more goals. But he forgot Klaus's greasy head doesn't put the ball in the right place. And then he was gone.
Do you want to do a couple goal or no goals before we leave?
Yeah, for sure.
I got one for you. Ready?
Okay.
So, goal or no goal. Steve and I are in a fantasy football league, and I chose yet again Josh Allen, who has 2 touchdowns, 228 yards currently, with more game to go, and he's got 31 points for our league. Goal or no goal, I am brilliant for yet again picking Josh Allen.
Yeah, just wait until it gets cold and it's 40-mile-an-hour wind up there in freaking New Jersey or, wherever they play in Buffalo. Yeah, just wait until then. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Josh Allen is the king of disappointment in the towards the end of the season. So, let me go ahead. By the way, a moment of silence for all of us CMC owners that are constantly having stress outs about if he's going to play or not. He did okay tonight, but he definitely was not first round talent. So, boy, fantasy is just it'll kick you in the teeth. All right, from Reddit, Nickel Pierre says, my frustration is turned into apathy. If the front office doesn't turn this around, this team is going to be fourth fiddle behind a spring league football team, meaning the Battlehawks.
Is it reactionary for me to say this? But I see what they're saying. I'm kind of having to say, I don't think they're going to be less than the Battlehawks. I just don't.
Yep.
Right, I think they're going to challenge them. No goal. But I get what they're saying. I'll be honest, Steve. Like I'm a diehard City fan. I've watched or been to every single game that they've had, except for one, which was during my grandparents' anniversary, so I had to watch it the next day.
But you watched
worth
it.
The sacrificed.
You watched
but
it.
But I 100% watched it.
So you haven't missed
the second
game.
I could get to the TV, right. I absolutely watched it. But honestly, I'm looking at the remaining games, and I'm like, ugh. Like literally, It's just like, it's almost a chore at this point. And that sounds bad. I don't want it to be.
Right.
So yeah, apathy, 100%.
Yeah, apathy for sure. And that's what I have been saying since April. This is bag on head supporter section time. This is emptying the supporter section now. This is stop showing up. You had mentioned that there seemed to be a lot of empty seats at the game. What I noticed on TV is there wasn't enough. It looked like at the beginning of the game, it was close to, it was really packed, but it was quiet. So you have 22,000 people, probably 18, 19,000 after the second half, still at that game, still buying merchandise, still buying alcohol, still buying food, still paying for $40. You know, that big parking lot next to the stadium. $40 to park in that thing is what I heard the other night. People still doing all this. And until the team sees empty seats, until the team is embarrassed on television, which it's only on Apple, so what's it matter to them? Until that happens, guys, they're not changing a thing. Billionaires do not care what you think until your little bit of money stops showing up in their accounts. Once you do that, the crest matters again. Because right now, I can tell you, Karen Kindle's not feeling the heat. She's still swimming in her Scrooge McDuck swimming pool full of money. She doesn't care. They don't care. None of the ownership is going to care until you stop showing up. So stop berating people who are saying this has got to change. Until that happens, nothing's going to change. So that's a little frustration from me because we see the common folk see the problem, but you have to support the team no matter what. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm 44 years old. I have a mortgage. I have 3 kids. I have a wife. I have a job. I'm not going to spend 5 hours on a Saturday night cheering and supporting a team that doesn't care about me on the back end.
I hope it comes out. I'll be honest. I hope it comes out that Carolyn Kindle got so pissed off. Her and her family got so pissed off and they gave the order to fire Lutz. If they did, then I would say at least they're doing something, something like that. But then they need to follow it up with some nice spending this offseason.
Yeah.
Simple. You got to bring in some kind of name. You cannot bring what I'm afraid of them doing is more lottery picks. You cannot do freaking lottery picks. You can't say, oh, we're just going to get somebody who's like a DP light who might light up the league. I want to see somebody with some like real pizzazz. I'm not talking about a Messi. Come on. Like I'm being realistic here, but what's the guy that went to LA that we missed out on? And I'm okay with us not getting him.
Royce.
Yeah.
Royce.
Yeah. Like get something.
Yeah.
Like a kind of a quote unquote name player, like somebody who has a little pizzazz. Like we got to do something.
We could also get a head coach that matters. You look at Chicago. Yeah. Chicago brought in Greg Berhalter, and they're making the playoffs. As of right now, they're making the playoffs. So you took them from the bottom of the East, and now they're a playoff contending team.
Yeah.
And yes, they also spent a lot of money on players, too. They got some really, really nice players, and they're coming together. Meanwhile, we're playing nickel and dime nonsense with a bunch of players from the second league in Germany and hiring a coach that has zero big-time experience themselves, and we're floundering. And we're bringing a bunch of players in on loan. And it's like, why are we not good? Oh, yeah, maybe this is why.
We talked about it at the game that MLS spending has hit a record this year. And technically, if you take the number of teams and divide it by 100%, every team should be spending, like 3.3, something like that, 3.3% of the spending. City is at 1.5% of the spending. We're at less than half of what our expected spending should be. Come on. That's all I got to say. All right, I got one for you. You ready? A guy on Reddit here, and I can't say his name, but said, I honestly feel like I owe Olaf an apology. He's not a good coach, and this guy and this type of play is still more interesting to watch, but the results aren't really any different. Goal or no goal?
Oh, no goal. No, we do not owe a head coach an apology. Nope. Absolutely not. This is the mentality that gets us in trouble as fans. No. We saw it with our own lying eyes at that point. We saw what was bad. It was awful. Oops, all center backs was a meme for a reason. It was god awful. Probably hurt a lot of our players because they weren't sure how to train under this coach. No, absolutely not. He got ran out of here for a reason. Bradley Carnell, you may have an argument. We have an argument since they just clinched and they're probably going to win the Shield. Different organization. That is a very, very well-founded team. A lot of players have been there for years. Different culture, but you're looking at a head coach that was fired and now he's going to win the freaking Shield. Olaf is not going to win the Shield. Olaf probably won't have a head coaching job even back in Sweden, wherever he's from. So, don't worry about that. I ain't worried about that. All right. Okay, from Reddit. Upstairs Karma, this is my last one, says, it's a shame when the anthem singer is the highlight of the game. I didn't see the anthem singer. We don't see it on TV. We don't see it on TV, but it seems like that's going to be a goal for me. It's going to be a goal.
You know what? Anthem singer, we heart you. We love that. See, I got it right.
You did it twice.
I know. Oh, yeah. I know. I fail.
No, you made it weird.
I missed another shot. Okay.
You made it weird.
Yeah.
You crossed it.
Jeez. Right. Man, the Kansas City kicker. By the way, all I'm going to say is, because I just don't want to get canceled here, but just look up the Kansas City kicker. What's his name? Butker. And yes. The call. Oh, yeah. Whatever his name is. Oh, my gosh. That was an amazing call. That was the highlight of the weekend.
He's a fascist. You got that one, buddy.
Heck yeah.
God damn it, this guy. So on Reddit, I wonder, AJ, if you could share this, like a screen capture of this or something. Someone posted, remember back in the 80s when there were missing children? You put them on a milk carton? Someone posted this on Reddit. It's Carolyn Kindle. Yep. It says, if found, contact literally anyone. Because there's another one. Yeah, she's a billionaire. She's not going to do any hard media, which I get. But again, another one of those when everything's fine, she's out there doing her little pressers and glad handing and doing all the fun interviews. Well, now the team is going to win the wooden spoon. Potentially. And she's nowhere to be found. Because here's the thing. Why is she nowhere to be found? Because she is counting her money. Because season ticket holders continue to renew. People continue to pay $75 from the MLS for these tickets. People continue to do that. And if you buy your tickets from StubHub, all this, or from SeatGeek, the money goes right to City. People continue to spend $180 on jerseys. People continue to buy all the merchandise. And until we stop doing that, nothing will change. They don't care about bad press. That bad press is still bringing in money.
Yeah, well, look at the Cardinals. How's this working out for them?
Yeah. I don't know, man. The Cardinals are still a machine, and we got Bill DeWitt still threatening to move the team because the city's not going to give him money to build a new stadium that was just built 20 years ago. He wants another new stadium because he sees what those people out in Kansas City are threatening to do. So they don't care. I drove by the stadium. I DM'd D&D at Dirty 20 Bar, which, by the way, if you guys are nerds, you live in Baldwin area, go to Dirty 20. It's an awesome place. They had to shut down. Yeah, but funny story. So, the big thing they're known for is their mac and cheese. The mac and cheese is their main item, and you can have it vegan, gluten-free, all that jazz. The waitress came up today and she's like, "Oh, by the way, we can't make the mac and cheese. Our oven is down." Like, what? Yeah. Someone cooked bacon in their oven and it caught fire and the oven got destroyed. So they're trying to figure that out. And it like caught a big old grease fire in there, so they can't make any of their big stuff. Anyway, so I was on my way home from DMing today and the Cardinals game was still going on. And you can kind of see when you're on the highway, you can kind of see going eastbound inside the stadium based on kind of slits. Very much empty today because the fans are getting sick of it, which is good. We need to have about 15,000 people in City Park. You get about 15,000 people, that looks awful. That's not going to be good, and that's when you're going to see changes happen. Then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing announcements that we care about the city and we care about you, the fan, and we're going to make some big changes that are going to make your game day experience even better. And you're going to see like a little meme of Diego being chucked out of a window or something. And maybe Diego will get his own little luggage tag because something's got to happen. Or the fans are going to use their luggage tags and go serve their money.
We're going to find out, man. We will find out. This offseason is going to be super telling. If we see some like third-rate coach get hired, like a coach, seriously, if we get somebody who's like literally never been a head coach before, you know exactly what this is. You're right. They're saving money or maybe they're just that completely inept. Now, if they come out and they get a coach, yeah.
I would also say any recycled, fired MLS coach. If they hire Vermees from Kansas City, they don't care. I would say the only one that I would be okay with hiring is maybe Jim Curtin, but he got fired. And it's like if you're hiring these MLS coaches that are being fired because they don't know how to run an organization, I don't want them here.
But what coach hasn't gotten fired though?
I don't want Vermees here. He was in Kansas City for over a decade and he got fired and they're not much better, but like, I don't want him. Maybe Jim Curtin, we can talk about Curtin, but like maybe next game we'll have a list of names that of our wishes. I already brought one up before, but we can talk about that after the next. We play Montreal in Montreal and it's going to be a disgusting, boring, bad game. And we're probably going to lose that game. You
know what I want to see? I want to see a coach. So I can't think of the website, but there's different rankings of leagues in the world. And sometimes like MLS is between like 9th and 12th in the world, something like that. I truly believe it's about 9th, if you ask me. What I want to see is a coach from somebody at or higher than what the MLS is. If we see somebody from like the Swedish second division or, you get the point that I'm trying to say.
Right.
That's not good enough. That is absolutely not good enough. I want to see something a little bit better. I'm not talking about getting a freaking Premier League coach in here, right? That's never going to happen, right? But just get something at this level. Don't go be digging around for like a bargain bin lottery pick. Honestly, that's what Olaf was. Olaf was. He was a lottery pick from a lower league.
Right. So we've had an assistant coach in the MLS that we brought in. Our first head coach, he was fired. We've had a head coach from some soda pop league over in Sweden, and that didn't work out. I'm going to keep going back to Chicago, man. Chicago was able to get the former U.S. men's national head coach. Yes, Berhalter has his shtick, has his things. People didn't like him as a head coach. He was still the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, and now he's the head coach in Chicago. That's pretty amazing. That's a pretty big get. That's pretty wild. But I like your thinking. You got to go higher than where we are now. It's like the old saying when you go to interview for a job, interview for the job you want, not the one you have. You got to dress up. You got to look higher. Like. MLS should not be looking at the USL2 division. They shouldn't be looking down there and be like, hey, we want to come up and be your coach. We have $50. Do you want a car? We got a car for you. No, they need to really open up these coffers here. You're right. We will see how much they care when they announce who the new head coach is.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, Steve, it's about that time.
Yep.
We've yipped and yapped, and we solved city's problems. And I'm actually semi-joking. I think we have. They just need to not go for bargain bin discounts.
Nope.
I know that sounds stupid. It's not that hard.
Hey, I'm a cheap guy, and sometimes you got to spend money.
Are.
Sometimes you got to spend money, man.
Absolutely.
This is one of those times. We can't go on Temu and get a head coach again. We can't do that. We got to at least go to Walmart.
Yeah. Well, Steve, send us out.
All right, you mooks. All right, so what we ought to do, stretch, look around, find whatever motivation you have in your body that's left after this week. Pump your arms, look around, find someone, go, for city, baby.
City.
Okay.